please congratulate everyone's friend, Mike Giunta.
That should set the tone for his new chair. Honestly, this is worth it tonight just to get a chance to hug Andy McKenna in public. Anytime I can do that, I'll go jump at the chance. Andy, I guess 20 years of sending you airplane floats has paid off. Thank you so much for the nomination. I'm going to use the joke again, though. When you told me I won, I said, surely you're kidding. And you replied, I'm not kidding, and don't call me Shirley. But no, I really am honored to get this honor tonight. I never had a chance to work with Jeff and John, but I've heard so much about your work throughout my career, and the night is young. Maybe we can knock off a campaign or two at the bar later. Ken Johns was one of the first people I met when I got into advertising. A true professional, true gentleman. Shannon Baker, you've accomplished so much in your career. Among your many accomplishments, you managed to make John Gatesman look good quite often, and that's really something to be proud of. Don Butler, you've been such a big part of my career and my story, my work at GH, as of really all my friends at UPMC. I'm so glad to be able to work with people who treat me as part of their team and a partner. And of course, Dave Desai. I won my first Addy on his coattails, as many people in this room have. I got to see him work his magic, and we're lucky enough to learn from him. But for those who don't know, my career got started in a very unusual direction. I was actually an accountant working at Federated Investors. I was really desperate to get out of accounting and to move from working with numbers to working with words. So I got the gall up to approach a young corporate communications professional named Doug Lucas. And I got my first job writing for him, and I appreciate that break. I did have to work for him for free, but nonetheless, I appreciate the solid, Doug. But when I got into advertising, I remember my first Addy show. I thought it was the coolest thing I had ever been to. And that speaks to how fun the Addies are and probably how really boring my life was at the time. But I still think it's great now. Every time I go to the show, I think it's fun. I still can't believe I'm part of this creative community. Here's a group of people that, very competitive with each other, but also very supportive of each other. We like to congratulate each other and see each other do well. But my success in advertising really has to do with parenting. I had a mom and a dad who taught me to treat people kindly, to value relationships, and who thought I could do anything. I also had 3 older sisters and a brother who certainly had an enormous impression on me. They were all such hard workers, but more importantly, they were extremely irresponsible and negligent in letting me stay up way too late to watch movies, shows, books that were hugely inappropriate for my age. But somewhere amongst all those Mel Brooks movies and National Lampoon magazines I was reading, and the scary shows they let me watch, they twisted my mind just enough to put me in a place to be creative one day. Thanks to my wife Tisa, my kids Maria, Nick, and John, they've gotten used to me kind of just drifting off in the middle of dinner and speaking a headline into my phone, or when I'm driving somewhere with them, I tell them to text me an idea that I had while I'm driving. And of course, my putting up with my crazy Christmas card ideas every year. I really want to thank everyone at GH Advertising. The whole agency is full of such good people. It's an embarrassment of riches and talent, really. The management team, the creative team I get to lead, the clients and co-workers I consider friends. I want to thank especially our president, Dave Popelka. We've been through some interesting and fun times together. Dave Egan was our first client and kind of the godfather of GH Advertising. I get asked by young copywriters, for advice, and really what I should tell them is just, find other great writers, find other great art directors to work with. That's what I've done. I've kind of surrounded myself with talent. There's so many great creatives at GH. I want to especially call out my partners in crime, my wing women, Tia Callis and Debbie Regan. I want to thank the AAF and everyone on the Hall of Fame committee, Evie DeSarno, Gordon, Lauren. I kind of thought I aged out of this category, actually, but maybe the Veterans Committee must have put in a good word for me there. But I can tell you, you've given this award to definitely people who are more talented than me, but no one more grateful than me. I really am grateful for this. I've stayed involved in the AAF my whole career since when I started till today. I think it's important to support an organization that supports us and really champions the creative class in the city. And I'm very, very proud of my work with the AAF. So finally, one of the movies my sisters and my brother let me stay up too late for was the original Dirty Harry. If you remember, Clint Eastwood has the bad guy kind of cornered at the end. He says, "Well, punk, do you feel lucky?" And I just want to say this punk tonight feels very lucky. So thank you very much.